Alright, so today we're going to go through how to set up your local development environment for building a Teams bot. So as you can see here, I started writing this up into the article, but then it quickly ballooned out into 10, 11, 12 steps of just pure fun indulged by Microsoft. So I thought we should maybe leave that one and just switch it to using a video instead, which I'm sure this will be outdated by Microsoft's updates within the next 2 months, but you know, it's a good time for now. So first things first, we're going to start working Azure. I hope it's no surprise that we'll be working with Azure in this project, but that's how Teams gets notifications through to our bot. We are going to set up in the portal what's called a bot channels registration, and that tells Azure, hey, whenever you get notifications from Teams that are aimed for your bot, send it to the web app that's sitting here. And that's where our code is, and that's where our code does the processing that we want it to do. So we're going to go to the Azure portal. Here's your usual homepage, at least now. It looks like this, and it changes all the time. As you can see, I've got one other bot here at the moment. I've just been getting really fat working from home, so I decided I might try and make a bot to remind me to get up and exercise every now and then. But I guess we'll just stay fat for now. So what we're going to do is create a resource, and we are going to search for the word bot, and hit enter. And as you can see, no results were found, so it's a good thing that we have 74 results. And we go to Azure Bot. And what we're going to do now is click Create, which takes us to the page to create a new Azure Bot. You can just pick anything to name your bot. I'm going to call mine Dinner Bot right now because it's got to be unique. Yeah, I'm quite hungry at the moment. It's quite late, you know, really ready for dinner, so we'll call it that. I've got a good resource group name already there, so add it to one of those. We're going to leave this as create new Microsoft app ID. Some advanced stuff going on there if you want, but let's just keep going for now. We're going to leave the tags. We're going to say, yep, this is our bot. Pay as we go, thankfully. And we're going to create a new Microsoft app ID. So now we have our bot, validation's passed. Let's create it. Loading screen 2.0. Right, we're finally done. Go back and have a look at this bot. Beautiful. It's here. It does something. No, it does nothing yet. Let's make it do something. Next step is to use your IDE to create a new .NET Core Web API project. I use Rider. If you're still using Visual Studio, I'm sorry, you're probably just poor. I must say though, very impartial to VS Code. I just got used to Rider. But let's call this what we said, DinnerBot API. Let's not make a unit test project. Let's make a web app. That'd be lovely. Alright, let's just give it a web API. No authentication. We're all good to go. Look at that. All the good stuff. Okay. First things first, we're going to install some packages. We're going to install BotBuilder, everyone's favorite. We're building bots, would you believe? Can't remember the other one. BotBuilder integration. Because one just wasn't enough. Awesome. So now we've actually got everything that we need. So we're going to create a new controller. I'm going to call it, bot controller seems appropriate. We're going to make it a controller. We're going to make it a controller. And we're going to make it controller. So this is the place where we're going to tell Teams to forward all events from Teams to. So in our application, anything relating to Teams is going to be forwarded through this controller. And what we'll do is we'll make it have a bot as part of the class, an adapter to actually run the bot, and we'll give it a single method. There we go. I don't know why, but Microsoft's examples all do the HTTP get and post. As far as I know, getting doesn't work, but who am I to judge? and we'll just quickly make it someone else's problem to work out what the bot actually is. That'd be useful. Okay, so very simply, this controller will receive messages to this endpoint, which we'll configure in Azure in a second, and this endpoint just goes, hey adapter, go process it using this request and our bot. Pretty simple. So now that we have our controller to actually handle the messages, we're going to create a real bot. So let's make a folder for any bots that we have, and we're going to make a class that represents our bot. This is our dinner bot. And the way that you create a bot, as it would so be called in .NET, is by making a class that inherits from the TeamsActivityHandler class. And this gives us a ton of nice methods to override. As you can see here, we can override when people are added or when they're removed from the teams or the bot, when people are added or removed from channels where the bot is installed. We can get notified when people change their reactions to our messages, or just when messages happen. Lots of good stuff. But for now, I like to just override this base method. So onTurnAsync is the main public method that the bot has, and all we're going to do right now is return the base method. But this will let us set a breakpoint on it and prove that the messages are being successfully delivered to our bot. So going back to our controller, what do we need? We need a bot. Done. We need a framework, we need a whatever that is. Let's create one. Let's just call it a dinner bot adapter. And the reason you've got to do this is we're going to make this extend the regular HTTP adapter. Here's an example I prepared earlier. We're going to pull out this constructor and use all this fun stuff right here. Now what this does is it forces the dependency injection container to actually use this constructor. Whereas if you go to the bot framework HTTP adapter, there's a lot of different constructors, and often it gets confused and it doesn't use the right one. So now we have our own thing. So bot, check. Framework adapter, check. Let's go register these things. Configuration, services. Oh, I can never remember. Yeah, is it add? Add transient, that's the one. I bot, dinner bot. Oh, I would name this wrong. Now I'm gonna have to do this everywhere. I'm gonna add a scoped. Bot framework adapter and use our dinner bot adapter for that. Cool. Now everything should work exactly correctly. First time. What we're going to do now is, remember this thing that we were doing in Azure before? So because we clicked the auto create the app registration, I believe what should have happened is we have a new key vault. There we are. It automatically creates a key vault for you, and it puts your app ID and app password in here. And naturally, it says that I'm unauthorized to view this thing that I just created for myself. So let's come back to this in a sec. All right, so what we've done in the background quickly is we've just edited some of the access policies. So I actually have access to my own auto-generated secrets. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you, especially if you're the admin, global admin within an AD that you own. I don't know, man, Microsoft. Anyway, let's go to our bot registration again. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the configuration part, and this is what's called our app ID. And if you go to the Azure AD, what you'll find that within the app registration section, there will actually be, yes, there you are, app that corresponds to this ID. Now, so what we're going to do with this app ID is we're going to go to our app settings in here, and we're going to add a new setting called Microsoft App ID. We're going to plug that value in right there. We're now going to make another one called Microsoft App Password. And again, this is where that key vault access comes into play. We've got our secrets here, and we are just going to this secret here and paste it in again. Do not try and use these. Promise I'll delete them straight after. Promise is not a promise, hence please don't try to use it. Alright, so when we start things up now, we should see no errors. Things should just work. At least I'm hoping. Oh yeah, that's what we like to see. Okay, let's stop that. Alright, what's the next step I had in my list? Take note of the port your app is running on, in my case it's 5001. Same thing applies to you, whatever it was for yours. Okay, now we're going to use ngrok, so if you haven't downloaded it, download it from their main website. It's free, it's useful, it lets you, we'll see it work in a sec. Alright, so we're going to go to wherever ngrok is downloaded, and what we're going to do is type in this command, ngrok http, then we're going to point it to wherever our bot is sitting, and we're going to include this host header or header argument that says host header equals localhost. That's just something required for Microsoft to make it work. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to start up this app again. Notice how it goes to domain/swagger/index. We're going to copy this domain on the left, and we are also going to go to Swagger at this address. And now you see what ngrok does. Ngrok just forwards a valid HTTPS at the ngrok domain onto your local host. So I can visit anything that I'm running locally on a real website domain. And that's what we're seeing here, which is lovely. And that's what we need to actually test our bot. So now we have a local host where our app is running and a valid HTTPS domain that points to where our local host is running. So the next step that I've written down that we need to do is tell our bot where to find that address. So again, our bot is going to receive events from Teams and want to forward them onto somewhere. So that's where we come to this configuration section within the bot, and we just paste in our domain. And what did we call it again? In the API bot messages. It's going to add this path name onto it. Damn it. Save that. And we are looking all good. Now what we need to do is we need to add the Teams channel to the channels. Otherwise it won't work in Teams just yet. So we're going to come to the channel section, click Teams, whichever version of Teams you're using. I imagine it's probably not government following this tutorial, but if you are, let me know in the comments. Tell me some secrets. And that is lovely. So this should all actually work right now. What we've done now is we've set up a bot locally. We have the code required to accept a message and process that in a real class. We've also got the Azure configuration to say, here's our bot, send any events you receive from Teams onto this endpoint. And that is hopefully us. So the last step that we need to do is wrap our bot in a nice little package that Teams can understand and install. So the way we do that is we go to Teams and we're going to search for App Studio and install this one. This is a nice little utility that just lets us build things within Teams with a nice UI. So there you can see there's the bot from my demo, and what we're going to do is create a new app. What did we call this one? Dinner bot. Full name, but longer, of course. I'm going to generate a new app ID. I don't know. Whoa, why did you just do that? Dinner bot 1 tells me it's time for dinner. Again, full description. It's just got to be slightly longer. Developer information, Matt. thing. Oh, that's a lie. Lovely. Of course, you know, the relevant URLs should go in here. And you're going to have to pick some random images. I'm just going to recycle the same images from the last one. And unfortunately, these are required, but they let you set up a couple of useful things. So now what we've done is we've registered what's called our app. And what we're going to do now is attach a bot to our app. So you come visit the bots tab and click setup. And hopefully, if everything works right, you should be able to go to existing bot and select one of my existing bots, and it will come up with your dinner bot. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So we're going to have to do connect to a different bot ID. And we're going to, again, grab this ID from here. Again, it's the same thing, same ID that we used in our Microsoft App ID. And we're just going to plug it into here. And we're going to say that, I don't know, we can install it anywhere we want for now. That's just useful. And so now our bot's here. Again, you can see that the password matches up with what we've got. Gives you a nice little hint there. And we're ready to install the bot. So we visit the test and distribute section and click install. So now I'm just going to install this bot by clicking add, as you would with any other app. Hit here. See this message come through. You'll see our breakpoint hit. We're now in here. So if you look at this turn context object in the activity, there's a lot of useful things you can pull out here. So we're in Microsoft Teams. Had 2 members added to the conversation, ourselves and myself, the user who added it. There's lots of useful things that you can pull out from here. And that's really it. So good luck with everything. Again, now our bot's just installed. Everything is great. Have a good night. Let me know if you've got any issues. The end.